And part of it too is just coming in and saying these are real things that we're seeing day to day and trying to break it into digestible snippets for people so that they may be able to identify with some of it and say maybe they're facing it in their own business or they're thinking about starting a business, and it can be overwhelming, and just trying to get into some of the real things that go on out there.
All right, folks, welcome to No Followers Podcast. That's T. I'm Bob. We're here to talk the real lingo of business and building your products and all the crap you hear from other people that usually doesn't make any sense because they read it in a book. And no offense to people trying to help you, but you also have to know where they're coming from. And T and I have been together for a long time having those arguments, and we're going to have arguments here all the time because he doesn't see the world the way I do and vice versa. And that's good. It makes a good team. So there's lesson number one.
There you go. Each business is not necessarily in the same point. Each idea is not necessarily at the same point. So it's how do you take stock of what you have and figure out what does that mean to move the needle for me, for my company, for my idea, for my product, if that's where you're trying to go.
We have one metric, and we've always been brutally honest with each other. It is getting a product into the market that's selling. And that we don't always hit it. We don't always end up doing it, but that's always our goal. So we're aligned with anybody we're working with is we're going to make this product and we're going to get into the market. And then the market's going to tell us what we did wrong. And then we're going to pivot, or we say it's not viable.
Knowing what you bring to the table and what you don't, to me, is kind of step one. Because it's going to get into how you build your team. It's going to get into how you make versus buy decisions, especially we're product focused. So what are you going to make? What are you going to buy? How are you going to handle all that? And I think a lot of that stems from having the emotional intelligence and the self-awareness of what do I bring to the table? What do I still need? And for us, a lot of that has always come down to what are mistakes that we've made. And I can speak for myself personally that there have been a few times where I thought this is what I'm going to do. And it's not that you said to me, don't do that, but
I did.
You said, I've done this before.
And more than a few times.
And I did that exact thing and it didn't turn out so hot, and so it kind of saves you from going down that road. But
I think there's a step before that too. So we're meeting a lot of people that still have an idea.
Yeah.
Like it's on a piece of paper, and that's awesome, right? It all starts with an idea, but the idea is never going to get to a business without testing that idea in the real world. And that's tying, I think a lot of people get qualitative metrics. That's not easy to do, but it's easier than getting quantifiable metrics. And we do both because we know without both of them working in tandem, we're never going to find that beachhead and that insertion point in the marketplace and a price point.
Right.
Which I've never met anybody that got their price point right.
Yeah. You may have the best idea in the world. If you as the founder are not coachable, then that's going to translate to the market tells you X, Y, or Z, and you don't want to hear it. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Because some of your ideas should never come to fruition.
Right.
And I think if you have one idea and you think it has to be successful, you better start observing the world around you and see where else that fits. Because people always go direct competition. Your biggest problem is not direct competition. It's all the other competition of human behavior and human habits and knee-jerk reaction of, no, I don't really need it.
Right. If you're getting advice from someone, if you're doing all these things, I encourage people, even customers that I work with that come here for product design and development, ask the people that are giving you guidance, what was their biggest failure? Not even what was their biggest failure, what were some of their biggest lessons learned? Because to me, if someone says to you, everything I've done has been killer, that's a red flag for me because there's just no way.
It's not going to guarantee you success. And that's the first thing that I can't stand, that people are guarantee. Okay, there's no guarantee. There's a million things that go wrong in any idea to execution. But if we can mitigate some of that, that's really where we are. So we've talked about this, right? The things that get burned out from anybody after a certain stage is the passion to keep doing it. And I say, if you have a hobby that you love, treating it as a business or trying to treat it as a business, you're going to see how quickly you don't love that hobby as much anymore. So either keep it a hobby or get into a different mindset. But I think the other thing is the fun part of the journey And that sounds so cliched on so many levels, but it helps you keep the passion for what you're and why you're really doing it. Like, everybody wants to make money, but if that's your sole goal, there are a million other ways to make money without taking all the risk.
Yeah.